Here's another exclusive clip from Wrestling Reality with Justin LaBar, brought to you by Gladiators of the Cage.
My guest this time, a good friend of mine and a part of the Chairshot Reality team. You can find him on CSRWrestling.com blogging, and of course you can check him out on his Twitter, at the Vince Russo. You can check him out on the Realm Network and now also on iHeartRadio. The guy is he's everywhere, which he's got to be because he's entertaining. He's former WWE creative writer Vince Russo. Vince, how are you, man?
All right, Justin. How you doing today?
Good. Always good to talk to you. Vince, let's talk about SummerSlam this Sunday, mainly the main event. The Undertaker has returned to avenge his loss streak against Brock Lesnar, and this is a guy you know real well in The Undertaker. What have you seen of Taker in his return?
Well, first of all, I was commenting on this last night. I mean, I think he looks absolutely phenomenal. You know, and guys like Taker, you know, I mean, they take a great pride, you know, in their appearance and staying in shape and still looking great. And man, after all these years, you know, he still looks absolutely incredible to me. And, you know, that really says a lot about the guy. He's had his share of, you know, back injuries in the past. You know, everybody knows he only wrestles, you know, once a year, once in a blue mood. And to, you know, be able to stay in that type of shape and condition, you know, at his age, you know, just really says a lot about the guy.
Vince, when he made his return at Battleground and attacked Brock Lesnar, he gave Brock a low blow. And then again, last night on Raw, he appears, gives Brock a low blow. Are you cool with this? I mean, it's kind of heel tactic, but I interpret it as he's back and he's showing he's going to have to pull out any stops, any means necessary to beat the Beast. Are you okay with that angling?
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't really have a problem with it. I mean, I feel it's definitely a little forced. I mean, you know, obviously, you know, bringing back Taker, you know, I mean, they have to use that to build up Brock. I mean, Taker obviously isn't coming back on a full-time or even a part-time schedule. So when he returns, you know, it's in the best interest of the WWE for him to get, you know, somebody else over. And obviously it looks like they're trying to make Brock the baby face. And if, you know, they can turn Taker semi-heel, you know, to help achieve that, that's what they're going to do. So based on why they're doing it, I mean, I really don't have an issue with it.
Based on all that, if Vince Russo is sitting at the writer's table, how do you pitch booking Sunday's main event?
Well, you know, again, see, the big question to me is, Justin, and maybe you have the answer to this, I don't know what Brock's contract status is. You know, I mean, obviously that would have a lot to do, you know, with the direction of Brock going forward. I don't know if he's signed into a year or... Do you know?
I think they have. I think he made that announcement on ESPN back at WrestleMania week. I believe he is locked in for at least two. He signed it back in March, so he's in the middle of a 2-year deal right now.
Well, if that's the deal, then obviously they got another year and a half on him. I'm sure there's probably some kind of option. So Brock's the guy, you know what I mean? And they have to go with Brock, and you know, they have to continue to make Brock strong. I mean, listen, let's face it, you know, from a reality standpoint, nobody should ever beat this guy. It was almost hard to believe last night, you know, watching Taker, you know, choke slam him and then give him the tombstone. You know, Brock is really the real deal. So there's no question in my mind from a booking aspect, you know, they have to get Brock over. And then I think they kind of have to let Taker, you know, acknowledge that victory, you know, in his own little way. It's not going to hurt Taker. Take his bulletproof. If they got to pull him out for WrestleMania again, I mean, whatever the case may be, he's going to be as over as he ever was. So, you know, again, you know, the future lies in Brock. And, you know, with somebody like Taker, they have to feed that to make it stronger, in my opinion.
Talking to former WWE creative writer Vince Russo. Vince, all over the place. You can catch him talking pro wrestling and much more via his work on the Realm Network, as well as he's got a new show getting ready to debut on August 29th, I believe, which you can check out via iHeartRadio. Vince, The Undertaker is he's such a special guy and character. He's been so protected. He's coming up on his 25-year anniversary, in fact, this November, coming to the WWE. What do you remember? Do you remember your first experience or experiences working when you were with WWE? I don't know whether there's a magazine, whether it was as a magazine writer or as a creative writer. Do you remember experiences working with him?
The thing I remember more than anything, and I mean, and I was really, I was really blessed to experience this, is, the guy used to work hurt a lot. And during my 5-year run there, when, you can say, the angle with Kane, he might have been in the absolute prime of his career at that point. He was dealing with some severe back injuries. But, man, the guy never skipped a beat, and he would get into that ring, and he would give 150%. And when that match was over, bro, he would just go back to the locker room and literally lay himself out on the floor. And, just the look on his face and the back pain, he was experiencing at certain points. For him to be able to just go out and do that without letting anybody know, this is a very, very, very prideful man. And as I said, it's no surprise, that every time the guy comes back, he looks better than before he left.
What was it like collaborating with him? Is a character like his that has a little bit of that has that supernatural element, does that open up an infinite amount of space for a writer like you, or does that limit things? What?
Oh no, it definitely opens it up because at the end of the day, he was really from a fictitious world, and when you add to that mix, Paul Bearer, and then Kane, which was the hot story at the time, man, it just opens up the envelope for just unbelievable avenues of creativity. So it was really a joy writing for him, and I can't ever remember. There being a creative disagreement or argument or nothing like that, while I worked with him. It was, it was real easy. He was really a pro's pro.
And, of course, we always hear this, and I'm sure you can attest to it. He was, the conscience of the locker room. He was he was the judge, jury, and executioner. So we always hear in terms of his peers and keeping things in line.
Yeah, he was the guy that, walked in silence, but, carried a big stick. I mean, he never said much, but when he spoke, people listened. When he spoke, he had something important to say, and, he probably had more respect in that locker room than anybody in the years that I worked there.
Vince, good stuff. Okay, give everybody a plug from your words of all the stuff you got going on, which I'm real happy to hear that you're continuing to branch out the brand, as you call it.
Yeah, real quickly, we have the brand on the Realm Network. You can go to VinceRussoBrand.com. I'm starting up on iHeartRadio on Saturday, August 29th. It's going to be 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And, of course, every week I write for ChairShotReality.com. You can read my blogs on there every week.
Appreciate it, Vince. Always good talking to you, and we'll do it again for sure.
All right, Justin. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.